Hey, hey, hey. Happy Friday evening. I got Sam Cook comments in the stream already. It is Friday night. I did not get paid today, but I do have a few packages to open. So we're going to do a mail call to start the show this evening. Should be interesting. One package I know the contents and the other I don't. So I'm going to open the contents of the package that I believe I know first. Trying to think it's been a busy day here, so I've been semi unprepared. I had to work at the mini golf this morning. I wasn't aware of that, so I lost about half of my day doing that, and then driving over to Mr. Berkey's house today because there was a package there delivered to him that was for me. So I had to go pick that up, and it was from our friend Mikhail, who is in the chat this evening. Can't wait to find out what is in there. This first package, though, is from Anthony and Sharon Snyder. And this is something they had been promising me that they were going to send me for quite some time. And it arrived. Let's have a look at it. Seems to be well packed. It's not cake, but it's something close to cake. Let's see here. All wrapped. Let's see. Of course, Anthony sent me some Dueling Dealers stickers. That was very nice of him. I'll have to use those on something I mail out. And then, there you go, everybody. I now am in the proud possession of the decoration that Sharon put together. It kind of smells like fondant or fondant. I don't know if that's exactly the Panama cram. Pajamas. No pajamas. Just the Thor hammer that was on the Tinker Thor cake that Sharon had put together. Thank you, Sharon and Anthony. I believe Sharon might be watching this evening if she was able to make the time for it. But now I think I could get Mike for mail fraud because he actually opened this. And I mean, go figure. It says it's to me, care of Mike. It's got my name all over it, and you can see Mikhail's packaging. It lives up to expectations. Question about the thing: is it edible? No, that is not an editable item. I'm just going to put it. I'm going to be like the collector and just start adding things to my back wall. And the Thor hammer that she made will go back there. So yes, Mike opened this and he was like, do you want me to tell you what it is? This is like 2 days ago. And I'm like, no, I want to open it up myself in front of everybody. So I made him put tape back on it so that I could have the pleasure of opening it myself. So let me get this thing open here. And Ardeth, I see your comment about interviewing Neil Adams and the Strankos and those of the world. Yes, of course, if I could line those up, I would certainly work out doing interviews with anyone of that stature. I don't think Stranko would ever do anything because he doesn't really like doing anything on camera. But Neil's always on camera, so he would probably be an easy one to get out and talking with him. So, all right. Now, fortunately, I've opened this up, and it's the back of something. So there is a letter, Bill Cox and the production gang. Let's see. Bill just said, hey, Mikhail, am I allowed to read this? Just waiting to see if Mikhail says yes or no, because you guys are a few seconds behind me. All right, well, don't show the handwriting. Okay, I won't. But this from Mikhail. It says, Bill, just a small gesture of appreciation for all that you do for the hobby. Keep it. Blade it, sell it. I hope it brings you good times either way. Best, Mikhail. So let's see. Tape down. Mikhail does do an amazing job of packaging. I will give him that. Mikhail. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna ever let this thing go. Well, this is a piece of Frank Whiteley art. It's from New X-Men 136, page 1. It's, wow. Mikhail, I don't even know what to say. let me hold it up. Well, I should probably take it out of there, but I'm not. I don't want to do it while we're on screen here, so I'll tip it a little bit, but I think everybody can sort of make that out. Well, that's actually better that way. Everybody knows I am a huge fan of Quitely and X-Men, so I was always thrilled when Quitely took on the book with Morrison, and so this is fantastic, and I really don't know what to say, Mikhail, but as everybody knows, I let go a lot of the pages. I probably had about at least 10 or 12 Quitely pages and a few covers before I built the miniature golf course and lost and had to sell everything. So this is amazing. Very happy. I can't even I'm not sure what to say, to be honest with you. But again, this will also, I think this is going to become part of the collection as well. I'll put that in a place of honor to have gotten such a nice packaging job from Mikhail, and more importantly, a piece of Quitely art. So thank you, Mikhail. It's I mean, I don't know what to say other than I'm honored, and trust me, I'm happy to be out here with you guys, giving us all something to do on a Friday evening. And yeah, that's a very wonderful thing. Thank you so much. Now I have your mailing. I'll have to give you my mailing address sometime so we can make sure that Mike doesn't open any future correspondence we ever have. Yes, I can frame that package. All right. So couple things. As everyone probably already knows, Heritage is going to be they're moving their art auctions to Wednesday afternoon and evening. I know that some people knew that when we had Heritage on the screen on Tuesday. I wasn't going to raise that question with any of them while they were there, but we did talk a little bit after the fact, indirectly. So it was because I knew it had nothing to do with what Mike, Anthony, and I do, but I was very curious what was the reasoning behind doing this, because it wasn't, what was it, about 3 years ago when they broke out art from the comics auctions on Sundays and moved art to Monday. And I thought, why? It's just really weird that they would go from Monday to Wednesday. And so what happened was, and I didn't get to, Mike found this out because he made a couple calls for me today. Essentially, they have so much comics inventory that they needed to add a second day for the comics auction. So they need Sunday and Monday. They wanted to keep those back to back. And on Tuesdays, they've been running all those gaming, those video games / Pokemon card auctions, which are probably making more for them than the original art auctions. And they've been on Tuesday. So they couldn't, they actually asked to bump, could we move those guys to Wednesday and we take over Tuesday? Well, that department said, no, can't do it. So they are moving the art to Wednesdays. And, so we'll see. There's some conversations going on. I mean, not with me. I mean, we've just kind of put the bug out there that we're not going to change our date. And we hope that, and we know that, they're a big company. They're not going to change their date either. So the question will be is, can they start an hour earlier, or what can we work out so that we don't have overlap? It's bad for Mike. Mike buys artwork every Monday. He's like, I've got art I've just consigned to you that would have been in the Monday auctions. Now I'm going to be competing. I'm going to be selling on Dueling Dealers and have art in these weekly auctions. So it wasn't a very comfortable situation for him too. He's like, it's weird. I'm not going to be able to actually it's just not a good situation. But so hopefully they're going to work it out so that they are done before Dueling Dealers. They're going to try to see what they can do, and we'll see. I don't think it'll change anything for their first auction, but maybe the following ones after that. So, but I don't want to change the date. I'm sure nobody here would want us to switch to a different night, to move to Tuesday nights or something like that. I like Wednesday night. I will assume everybody here likes us to stay on Wednesday nights. So, unless I hear anything otherwise, that's, the way it's going to go. And no, there's no boycott Heritage. Their Heritage and I have always had a good relationship. But like I mentioned on Tuesday, Jim Halpern was really the first person to come to me and believe in what I was doing with CAF and felt, the need to advertise and support CAF. And I had several conversations with him. Yeah. in the early days of CAF, where he just was like, love what you're doing. Just tell me what you need. How can I support you? And so, yeah, so Heritage and I have been always kind of, had a good, very, very good relationship. And so we're going to continue that, but it was disappointing in its own way, but hopefully if we can work out the timing, then it'll work out for everybody. But it won't work out well for Mike, because he tends to wake up at 8 p.m. on Wednesday and then roll into the show, just barely awake. So he's actually going to have to get up early on Wednesday so he can bid on those auctions, and we'll see. And they do usually end around 9, Ruben, I know that. So I don't think it's going to be a major issue anyway either. And those weekly auctions, I mean, half of it's good material, half of it's maybe average material. So, but there is the thought that maybe they might move it up, because they used to, before I think the beginning of the year, they started at 5 Central, and they've recently, as of the first of the year, switched to 6 Central, so 7 p.m. Eastern. So they do run past 9 a little bit, but we'll see what we can work on. They have like a weekly meeting that they're gonna have next week. So fingers crossed. I mean, I don't want any overlap. That's not good. But I don't want to start changing dates. I mean, a Tuesday, Comic Link chain has their regular auctions, I believe, that always end on Tuesday. So Tuesday's not a good night. I mean, I guess Monday's an open night now since there's no art auctions over there. But I don't want to do Monday night. I like Wednesday night. I like right in the middle of the week for everybody. yeah, that's about what he does, Rich. Slap of the Hall cologne. So let's do the weekly update things. And yes, he is super wired. I don't know how he does it, because he literally wakes up at 8, and I have to text him at 8:45 to make sure he really is awake and he's going to be there for the show. So that's just how Mike rolls. Now we did, I'm going to do the weekly stuff, and then I will go over a couple things related to that CSV export, just so I can show everybody where that's at right now. And good. Everybody likes Wednesday. Sean, I know you've emailed me a couple times. I apologize. I've just been so darn busy. I haven't been able to get back to you, but I will. And there's definitely other things that we can do together. When does he go to bed? That usually he goes to bed, as far as I know, usually around like 10 a.m. Or 11 a.m. He is usually awake when I get up in the morning, and he's pinging me with stuff, and then he'll sleep from like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. I don't know why he has chosen that to be his lifestyle of choice, but that is kind of how Berkey rolls. So I don't know how he does it. I certainly couldn't do it. So Berkey is a vampire. Yes, pretty much. He's always texting me and emailing me at literally 4 or 5 in the morning. So yeah, that's just how he's geared. I don't know, but he's been that way ever since I've known him. All right, so let's go over some of the weekly stuff. I've got way too many tabs open than I should have had for this thing here, but so I got to pop around and find the actual outline that I put together for tonight's show. So I apologize for that, but yeah. So just an interesting week. I've been very busy, as everybody knows. I hope you weren't bored to tears last night with the little bit that was about me. It was kind of fun. I mean, for me, it was interesting just to do a whole interview with me. It made me think of some things back from my art school days, which was kind of cool. And but all it did was kind of reaffirm for me that that's the path, the path that I'm on, doing Comic Art Fans and Comic Art Live, and everything else I've done in my fun and professional career has always kind of been a similar thing. Group oriented, and just about everybody that's around me at that time, and trying to get like going to Anthony and Mike and saying, hey guys, I got this great idea. Let's sit down and make a show. So that's my MO, and it'll probably never change. Yeah, the hospital might have had some you're absolutely right, Kavi. Because Mike used to be an X-ray technician, and I do know that he had an odd schedule there. So that might have been how he got himself set onto and stealing Maureen. Where is that? Here, I'll show you. This will give you guys a little laugh. Since I don't have a scan of this, but this is from when Maureen and I eloped to Vegas. Right there you go. There was my shark skin jacket and Maureen in her 50s chiffon dress, and there was Elvis singing a little concert at the end of the wedding. So it really did happen. Did I get my hair? No, I did not. No, I did not. But and much to her father's chagrin, he would have rather that I probably. I remember back in the day, they always talked. Their goal was to have her marry like George Stephanopoulos or something like that, because he worked for. Maureen's father was a plant manager for General Electric, so he was highly tied into a lot of political figures and stuff, and that was always the goal. So I think she's much happier not being married to George. I mean, maybe she might have liked the lifestyle that he probably can afford himself, but she got me instead. So there you go. Need not apply. Thank you, everybody. All right, so I've got my CAF update file finally in front of me, so I can go over everything. This is going to be from the period of the May 31st through June 6th. And let's see, we can go over the details. It was a rather slow week, actually, for dealers. I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why. I mean, 250,000 almost on the money isn't, it's not a bad week. The prior week was 344, but the prior week, I think, was a bit loaded with wills, like 3 high ticket items. And so, that sort of skewed that week a bit. But 250 isn't so bad. Ramita Man came in first with just under 80,000 in sales. Glenn was next with 10 sales for 42,500. Anthony was next with 73 sales, just over 36. Felix, 23 sales at 33. And Albert and the IX Gallery, my friend Patrick Wilshire, they were both in the low 20s last week. So just not a major week in sales, but let's go over the top 6 dealer sales of the week. And here we go. First up is a work sold by Ramita Man. This is by Dick Ayers. It's from Strange Tales 117. It's the splash page, of course. Nice image of the Human Torch there. This one was sold at the asking price of $18,000. Next up is a complete issue sale to crossover issue number 3, Jeff Shaw. This was sold by Felix, of course, for the price of $16,000. This next up is the Swamp Thing cover, issue 65, sold by Albert Moy for $12,000, John Tottleman art. And then we've got next piece. This was sold by Ramita Man. This was sold for the asking price of $9,000. It's Sam Keith. This is Marvel Comics Presents number 98 cover from 1992. Last 2 pieces here. This was sold by Panel Page. Artist, of course, is Mark Bagley, and this is from X-Men Unlimited number 1. It's a pinup from inside the book. The asking price on this one was $8,500. And finally, this is an artist by the name of Dorian Vallejo. And yes, that is Boris Vallejo's son. This was sold by IX Gallery. The price on this one was $8,000. And that was, I believe, a trade paperback cover, the title of which was Space Cops High Moon. So interesting. IX has been in and out of my reports for a while. But, I've worked with them for a very long time. And just they've actually got a Jimenez art drop out there right now that I think we posted a couple announcements about the other day. So definitely, if you should definitely check out that. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. So I see everybody's picking up, but yes, a very nice robot piece. And if you're not familiar with Dorian Vallejo's work, you should definitely check it out, because you can see he trained under his father before he went out on his own. I've seen his work a lot at the IX Art Show in PA, and he's a phenomenal painter. And the scale is just amazing. I mean, one of the shows about 5 years ago, all of his paintings must have been about 6 by 8 feet, 4 by 6 feet. So he works really, really large, whereas his father's paintings were probably more like, 12 by 18, maybe 18 by 24 as a standard size. So Dorian works really, really large. his figurative work is absolutely amazing, and definitely Google him, look him up. I think his website might be DorianVallejo.com. I could be wrong, but if you punch his name into Google, you'll find it. But yeah, phenomenal artist. He's represented by the Rays Gallery, I think. So really, someone worth checking out. He really is a fantastic artist, and there is a fair amount of his work on CAF as well. Vallejo. All right, I know. Well, if I'm not good, Ruben, that's why I need you in the chat to help correct me. But I'm not. I can't do it. Definitely can't do it tonight. But I'll work on that. But Dorian doesn't set up at IX all the time. But if you ever get to IX, you will definitely get to meet Boris, because Boris is there, or Boris. He is there along with a few other people. Pretty much every show. It's always fun to get to see them. But let's move on to the auction house results, which are actually pretty identical to the prior week. The week before this one was 314 in sales, and then this period it was 309. However, there are two pieces of interest that I can't pause the video when it plays, but we can talk about them afterwards, because I thought they were a little interesting and odd to be in my list here. So let's pull up the first set here. Of course, it's 6 artworks, 3 by eBay, 3 from Heritage. eBay had 821 sales at $137,000, and Heritage had 227 sales in their weekly auction for just over $172,000 to make up that overall total of 309. So here we go. Now the first piece here was by an artist named Jody Lee, and this was sold by Wow Art. Wow Art is actually owned by Jane Frank. If you're familiar with this area, I'm sure Ruben is. Jane's been a rep in the hobby and is a huge influence in getting this type of work out there. Jody is a cover artist. It was sold for $4,600. Next piece here is from Iron Man 79. George Tuska is the artist, and the price on eBay was $4,151. Now, this is one of the pieces we'll talk about afterwards. This is from World's Finest. It's I didn't write down the cover issue, but this is Ernie Chan and John Calnan. It sold for $3,001. And again, we'll talk about this one afterwards. It may be like Ernie painted it after the fact. This is the other one we're going to talk about. It's Barry Smith, Lord of the Black Corsairs poster art. This is one of those ones where the only piece that's original is the color beneath the acetate overlay, and that thing sold for $28,800. Next up is this Javier Polito and Robert Campanella Robin Year One cover, which sold for $8,100. And then finally, this Russ Manning Magnus Robot Fighter number 20, page 19. This one sold for $7,501. So, and then also, before I talk about those other things, the Comic Link had their auction during this period. So I didn't show any of the artwork from it, but we did the whole Comic Link auction recap, which was on Monday evening. So if there's anything that anybody wanted to kind of rehash or look over, you can look at that there. We pretty much talked about all the top selling items for the most part, and covered those things there as well. So let me just share this screen. So this was, was World's Finest 237. So I don't know a lot about it, and it's a little hard for me to watch the chat while we're talking about it. But when I thought it looked odd when it came up in the report, and so just in looking at the detail of it, again, it just something looks odd about it. But the auction description has it that they feel that Ernie had done the an Olaf on it, I guess, at the end of the day, coloring the cover after the fact. So, because as far as everything on it, it all looks legit. Everything on the back, stamps, everything like that. But you would think that this particular cover would have gone for a little bit more. But I think there's probably, you might have some apprehension out there, possible, instead of just going top dollar down a cross section of all price points. Jason would like me to do something like that. Well, I definitely could. I mean, maybe we can talk about it afterwards, Jason, just to see exactly what you might like me to kind of show. There's because I just do a dive into the market data that I have to pull out the results that I've got. There's As you know, if you were to, and I'm assuming most people look at the like the auction report or the dealer report that we put together, we do try to do a little bit of a deeper dive there than we do here. Typically, those are about the same, though, where we kind of pick out the top selling items and then compare those historically against other sales for those top selling items to see if the current sale is, the highest price, Iron Man Tusca page, or, try to compare that to prior sales. So Mickey, Mickey says he's got a JLA cover by Ernie that he had colored himself. So so this would be then it's not out of the ordinary then and Ruben's also saying the same thing, that there's a lot of that multiple Chan covers from the 70s are colored, and Chan colored them all. So I mean, I don't know. I was just wanted to point it out that, these things, I haven't seen many of these before, so it's good to hear that this is actually pretty common for Chan's work. But again, for me, I don't know. I've always looked at the Olaf work as work that if I was buying art, I might steer myself away from a little bit. But if Ernie did this, somewhat regularly, then I guess it probably isn't going to affect the overall price in general. But there's 48 bids on that $3,001 item, so it clearly had a lot of interest. So, and the other item, of course, that I mentioned was the Barry Smith piece, and it just makes the $28,000 price, and I'm not logged in, so it's not showing it, but it did sell for $28,800. I mean, we've seen these before. They're Adam Hughes pieces where it's just a painted background and a clear acetate with the ink lines on the acetate. I just think that, I just can't imagine that that piece sold for as much as it did. I mean, it's a classic image, of course, but for what it is, clicking on, let's see, it's probably mad that I'm not signed in. Let me get in there. All right. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's all we're looking at, as far as what's original on the piece. So I don't know. I'm sure, we know people collect production art. This isn't production art 100% because it's got the overlay, which is pictured here. But that is just, a print on acetate, and then you end up with the color underneath it to give you the other image. So, I just wanted to point it out because I didn't want it to stand as if it was a 100% original artwork. And probably a new to them. Yeah, Larry's saying, it's very possible it could be a new to the market collector, investor who doesn't know the difference. And it's quite possible, right? Because I don't know. I just can't see anybody spending $28,000 on that particular piece. It's just my opinion. So, and let's see, there's, Jeff. That's right, Jeff. You have a couple Adams painted blue lines from, right. There's several of those pieces out there that I've seen from Adams' early days. So again, I just wanted to show that. It's more trivia than anything else because we know it's all out there, but that price point was definitely not where I would have expected that piece to fall. So that helped Heritage's numbers. It's the second week in a row where they had one item go for a whole lot of money. The Bagley piece the prior week selling for $48,000. So, just wanted that out there. So I'm going to actually, I don't want to remove that just yet. I'm going to make myself full screen because there's another tab on there that I want to look at for the CSV export. But we can talk about that right after I do the popular art for the week. Now, I saw somebody ask about a random question from Kavi about does anyone use the assign to the comic archive thing, asking for, wondering where that info goes and any benefit to it. I can show you kind of where it goes. And again, it's one of those places that most people probably don't visit ever on CAF. But since I'm still sharing the screen, I might as well show it since we're talking about it. Here, let me go back and drop myself smaller here. That was the gallery report I was going to show you. So underneath the resources, we have a link for the Comic Art Archive. And, of the million artworks, of which probably only a half of those artworks are published, roughly 10% of those published pieces are actually assigned to the Comic Art Archive. There's 54,191 artworks assigned to 484 different publishers. So, I mean, I can just hop over to Marvel, I guess, and find one. So basically, this is the whole list of publishers that have any artwork assigned to them. And why did we do it? I mean, I wanted to put together a archive, because my vision when I made it was, I thought that it would be very cool to be able to browse by, go look at Avengers, the first book, and then go issue by issue and see all the artwork that's on CAF in the proper order to see, the artwork and see what was out there. And it would give you a visual of what was there for each individual title and issue number. So, I mean, I'm using Avengers as an example, so I should probably try to scroll through this massive list and find Avengers Volume 1. And let's see, here we go. So there's only 253 artworks from Avengers Volume 1 that are out there. Let's try to find one that actually has a reasonable number of pages. Here's issue 59. It's got 4 pages assigned to it. Here we go. Issue 97 has 7 pages assigned to it, and I've uploaded a cover. So we can take a look at issue 97. So all this data comes from the comics.org database. We basically have to take a data dump from them and import it. It's a really major task. It takes about a day because they have everything on their end is in MySQL, and it's a very different format than the Microsoft SQL that we use. So we have to have a copy of MySQL on our database server, import all their data into that and massage it all to heck, and then wedge it into ours. So we don't do it very often. We tend to just update that database. I mean, I always try to do it every 6 months, to be honest with you. So it's, and I think we're probably about 4 months overdue. I bet it's been 10 months at this point just because of the schedule we've been on. But, what I wanted to have here was a view of the artwork and some of the details on it. I thought it'd be very, very nice to have, it's got the published date, the title. It carries over everything that comics.org has as far as the cover characters. And, it links you back to comics.org if you want. It shows you the 7 pages that are out there. Lists who the same stuff that you get on CAF. So we've got Michael Malad. Let's see, he's got those pages. That one. Typically, what I find is the same collector owns most of them. But here, so Michael owns the first 4, and then we've got Gabrielle and Andrew Rollins owning those other 2. So and what do we got? We got page 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 18. So it's just a different way to look at what's already on CAF, but in a consolidated, orderly fashion that actually, because when you assign it to anything to the Comic Art Archive, we ask you to actually pick the proper page number as it appeared in the book. So if everything goes right, this is what you end up with. And the different art sizes is actually my problem. It's a resizing thing I have to do. And again, yes, Tim, see that's just it. There's all these little things out there. And why did I do it? We'd had the data out there for a very long time, and the option to assign artwork to it. Somebody came out with a website called Comic Art Database, and they were kind of working in the reverse direction. And that would have been about 8 or 9 years ago. And they were basically, they weren't asking people to do it, but people were just going to CAF and taking scans of other people's gallery artwork and then going into the site and uploading it. And I was like, well, that's not what I want people to be doing. I can't tell this guy to stop it. I can't tell him to tell his minions to stop doing that, that were helping him to populate it. So I just said, well, fine, I will do it myself. I will put it out there so that we can easily assign our artwork to this central database. And, if people choose to use it, great. If they don't, that's okay. But that was my vision. And so that's been out there for, again, for about 8 years. And so, it's not heavily used. I know it's a little cumbersome. If you collect, if you're a huge Avengers collector and you've got like 3 or 4 issues that you're picking from, and you've already assigned a piece of artwork to it, we make it real easy that the first page you go to allows you to just pick a issue that you've already assigned something to versus doing a search to find it and then go in and assign it. So we tried to make it simpler, but like anything else on CAF, there's always something you have to skip over to kind of, and hop through, as long as it's not a ring of fire, that you'll actually go out and do those sorts of things. But, I thought it'd be cool because, like Brian Peck, who's working on that X-Men wedding issue. I mean, all those pages are his, but, one day you as a collector might want to complete a issue or try to find out if if page 7 is out there, because you've got 6 and 8. You could come here and see if it was actually out there and owned by somebody else, versus having to hopefully find it out if they actually put enough keywords in there for you to find it on CAF. So that's all. And I thought this would be a unique way to browse through the artwork in a way that you're not going to get to do in any other way on CAF. You can never take an issue and then order it yourself. So let's see. I'm trying to read through the chat. Well, first off, Ron, thank you so much as always. I really appreciate it. And Ron, how do you get the sorry, I'm just trying to read through the types here, but got it. Oh, because you guys are looking at the chat on YouTube. Okay. And yes, that's all right. Now I know what you guys are talking about. You're talking about the chat on YouTube. So at any rate, that's what it was for. I would encourage everybody to use it, because I do think at the end of the day, we're all about trying to record things for posterity and share the hobby in different ways. And if somebody comes to CAF because they found this page and it turns them on to original art collecting, or helps, I don't know. Again, it's just another way to find the artwork, because as CAF has grown to over 1 million artworks, I felt like we needed ways like this, not just things that are curated, not just you favoriting art and people seeing what other artworks you like, but this gives us a different view into what we have on the site. And so I would very much encourage everybody to use it if they do. I mean, I always assign any published artwork that I've got to the Comic Art database as well. So, all right, let's move on from that, unless anybody had any other questions about it. Like X-Men issue 103, you should take a look at that, Tim. There will definitely be some pieces out there, but a lot of that, most of the time you're not going to get the cover images. I did those at one point. I had Gwen, my daughter, doing some uploads for me at a point, and it's just, it's cumbersome to get all that stuff done on our own. And we've never made CAF this community site where you can go in and do all those uploads for us. So that's just how it goes. All right, we're training everybody in the chat tonight. That's great. That's really good. I wish I had a chance to muck around in the chat, but my bot does all that for me, doesn't it? All right, let me get myself here full screen, and we are going to go over the popular art picks for this period. So let me get myself queued up. And the first couple pieces here are actually from Marcus Way, who's a regular in the chat. I had a couple pieces posted this week that I really liked, and I don't think I'd featured artwork from either artist. So I said, all right, we're going to do it, and I put them first here. So let's load them up. So here is the first of Marcus's pieces. This is from Avengers Volume 4. This is the cover to issue 32. It's by Brandon Peterson. And again, I don't think I've featured anything by Brandon in the past, so I thought that was a good one. And next up is Sweet Tooth number 5 cover by Jeff Lemire. This is, everybody's seen it. This is a piece that I think is in the daily email. Was it in today, or I think it's going to go in tomorrow? I can't recall. But I like that one a lot, and obviously it's a show now. This is, of course, Andy Kubert and Mark Pennington in the collection of JN80. It's from X-Men Executioner's Song storyline, Strife versus Apocalypse. This is from Batman 497, Nightfall series, of course. And this is got Bane versus Batman. It's in the collection of Jay Sly, Jim Aparo, and Dick Giordano. And of course, belated birthday for this George Perez Avengers 25 cover. This is in the collection of Robert Frey. And next up is a wonderful piece by Trad Moore, Silver Surfer Black, issue 2, page 11. This is in the collection of Kent Mansley. So cool. Next up, this is an FF 121 page. It's in the collection of Michael Wygant, John Buscema, and Joe Sinnott inks. And just an amazing surfer page, as always. And very reminiscent of a Stranko cover, of course. This is by Jeff Shaw, collection of Rob R. This is the cover to Thanos number 17. And this is a DPS after James Siegel's heart. It's from Avengers 394. It's in Simon Period collection, and the artists are Mike Diodato Jr. and Tom Palmer. And this is a Frank Miller and Claus Janson Daredevil 170 page. It's page 3, and this is in the collection of Justin Manis, and lots of classic Daredevil poses in that one. One of my favorite artists, Mark Schultz. This is in the collection of Jim D'Amico. I always just love his pencil work. Very unique, and I always admired it. So wanted to feature it. I don't think I've featured anything by Mark before. This is in the collection of Ted Latner, Incredible Hulk 355. Artists are Herb Trimpe inking and Jeff Purves penciling. And this is, I believe, a commission or just a pinup. It's in the collection of T. Shen. Artist is Carlo Pegulian. Nice Hulk image there. This is from Thor. This is issue 402. Obviously, a artist that I want to get something from one day myself. Ron Friends, Sinat Inks. And the last two pieces. This is the cover to Transformers, issue number 65. It's in the collection of Tony S, and it is by Bill Sienkiewicz, of course. And finally, don't see a lot of Frank Springer artwork out there for Dazzler, so this is a page from Dazzler number 11 with Galactus on it, no less, and it's page 18, Vince Coletta inks. So there you have it. Those are my popular picks from last week, and somehow while running that, I missed 50 comments being posted. So yeah, the Carlo Hulk was really, really outstanding. I agree. I couldn't not show that one. I really like that one a lot. And sorry, I'm just gonna thumb through here really quick. Oh yeah, oh Dino, you used to own that Miller page. That one was awesome. I could look at that one all day. Every pose with Daredevil on there was like classic, perfect. I mean, what more could you ask for? And yep, everybody's loving it. All right. So I can show you the CSV thing just so you can see where we're at right now. So Mikhail's on Carlo's list. All right, that's cool. Galactus. I know the whole Galactus thing with Dazzler. I mean, that was an odd storyline, but what are you going to do? That was very fun in its own way. So let me share my screen once more and show you what we have at the moment, and then we'll kind of have to take it. We're gonna have to work on this because it's not really what I want, but it can satisfy your needs of the moment to get all of your data out of CAF if you want to create a spreadsheet. Now, I haven't linked it in there yet. I'll put a link in there, but if you go to your gallery report, so underneath your main menu, second link is your gallery report, and if you go to that and just add and I can show you. Well, I don't have to show you. It's gallery report.asp is the name of the page up here. I'm just gonna. Well, I can't really shrink it too much, but kind of like way, way, way up there. The name of the page is gallery report.cs or -csv.asp. So that is the page that you can get to. That. Then I will link it from the gallery report. But I wanted to show you what it looks like and how you can utilize it today, because the right thing for us to do would be when you run this report that it would actually create a file that you could download on our server. I'm a little hesitant to want to do that because I think at that point you're putting a file out there that I have to come up with ways to delete them. I'd rather come up with a dynamic way to do these things on the fly. And that's kind of what we're doing here, but it makes you have to jump through a small ring of fire to get to where you can import it into Excel or Open Office spreadsheets if that's what you use. But I'll show you how to do it because it is very, very simple. I'm not going to share my whole screen, but I'll walk you through the process. The way this page works is it will load up to if you have 1,099 artworks in your CAF gallery, and some of you may have that many. It will load up to 2,000 artworks in a single load. So right now, this very tiny one that's incredibly hard to click on, which I will make bigger. That's why we haven't shown it off yet. If you click on it, it will open a new window and give you what we wanted to, which is this is what the CSV file would look like. However, it's not a CSV file at the moment. It's not like a raw text file. Like I saved it to the server and then gave you a link to download it. I'm loading it in another web page, and it's all formatted as if it's a CSV file. It's all the data that you need. The only field that we are not putting in here is the description. And the reason being is the description is a 8,000 character field. And there are some collectors who are very wordy. And if we were to include the description of everything that you wrote, I don't think we would probably not be able to have the artwork returned in sets of 2,000. I feel like at sets of 2,000, that accommodates 97% of all the collectors on CAF will be able to get all of their artwork in one single load. So what you need to do if you want to get this into Excel, all I do is click on the page, get my cursor in there. I just do a Control A to copy it, and then a Control A to select all, Control C to copy. I open up just a straight notepad file. I paste it in there, and then I save it as export.csv, and then I've got my CSV file. I mean, I can show it to you, but the thing is, it looks identical to this. It's just now in Notepad. And then as long as you've got Excel or you've got Open Office on your computer and it's associated to open a CSV file, all you need to do is open it up, and I can show you what it looks like after you get it in there. If I share the appropriate screen, and I just have to stop sharing that one and share my Open Office version here. And here it is, and right there. So as you can see, all the data that looked a little mucked up and hard to figure out is happily in my Open Office program now, and I can do pretty much anything I want with it. As far as looking at all the pricing information, it copies over all of your purchase price, purchase date, estimated value. It copies over the artist list, the title, the art type, what you currently have it listed for sale, if you do, or whether it's not for sale. And we do pull over the personal notes because we reviewed basically what personal notes sizes in the database table look like, and people don't really write a lot of personal notes. So we decided personal notes were fine to pull over into the spreadsheet. So, it's a start. Like I said, the easiest thing to do would be to create that physical file on the server such that when you click the link from the page, it will just download that file for you. I just have to look into how to do that and do it in the safest way. I don't want to be putting physical files out there that I'm not deleting from the server because, again, this is personal information. So at the moment, I feel much more comfortable doing it this way because, I can tell you the horror stories I've heard. We've talked about how people have, busted my code to get, legs up on Felix's art drops or Albert's art drops because they figured out that they could change page IDs and, and look at things that weren't actually active yet because, Maureen didn't program in there, hey, if the page isn't active or if the artwork isn't active on the site, don't let people look at it. Well, because who would think anyone would do that? Well, guess what? In this day and age, people will do anything to get a leg up. So if they know Felix is doing an art drop tomorrow, they would go there, go to his thing, find his newest artwork on his site, see what the ID number was because we show it, and then start incrementing it up and looking at everything that was going to be dropped the next day. Pretty savvy, but they can't do that now because we fixed that. But I can tell you that way, probably within a week after launching the CAF email, I had somebody email saying, there's a collector that's out there. He's just changing ID numbers and looking at other people's mail. So the point is there are people in this hobby who will do anything to get a leg up, even if it's abusing other people's personal information. So the idea of me saving your CSV files with your personal information as far as that art information, I'm just not keen on it because I know there's enough abusers out there in our hobby. And it's unfortunate you can't trust everybody to do the right thing. I mean, I would never think of doing stuff like that, but there are people out there who just would, they've just whatever. They're curious. They're but I don't want to say anything too negative, but you get the idea. They're devious. Yes, Jeff, exactly. Well, Tim, I can tell you, nobody can do a SQL injection on our stuff. We have done a phenomenal job with, Maureen's been a SQL programmer for a very long time. So she's put a lot of safeguards in that people can't do any kind of SQL queries into our data. It just fails. You can't run it through IIS. Those sorts of things are just, they don't work. I mean, which is good. And I've worked with a SQL expert, even when we picked up the new SQL server and put that in place in January, February. We went over all of those sorts of scenarios. Again, our firewall blocks, most SQL injections anyway. So most things get blocked before they can even get to the IIS server, which serves up the web pages, which hits the SQL box. So but do they happen? Oh yeah, I can tell you there's usually anywhere between 10 and 50,000 SQL hack attempts on CAF every single day. That's how crazy people are. It's not like there's really too much, awesome information there for people to get, but these queries come out of the Ukraine, and they come out of China, and just different places in Eastern Europe primarily. I don't know what they're looking for, but they'll do anything. People just like to see if they can cause havoc, right? That's why they had all those CDN issues that were going on earlier in the week. People like to break things. Yeah, Marcus, right, exactly. Information traffickers. I mean, again, there's not a lot of personal information on CAF that could ever go astray, but yeah, there's always going to be bad apples out there. So that's why. So I don't foresee saving your personal collection data as a physical file. Even if I had some way to delete it within 30 minutes of you creating it, I'm just not comfortable doing that yet. But I do think there is an easier way to do this. Because Maureen just said, here, I give you what you want. Then let's figure out how we can maybe do it in a way that's more convenient for everybody. Like I mentioned, it was super easy. I had the data there. Once I pasted it in the notepad, saved as a CSV onto my desktop, I just double clicked on it, opened it up in OpenOffice. I mean, I had the file literally in 15 seconds, and I was done. But I don't want people jumping through hoops to always get that. But I would definitely encourage everybody. You should. I mean, I want everybody to have copies of their data, and if I can make it easier, I will. Sorry, just reading through the chat a little bit, but right, exactly, Mikhail. I mean, these are, I don't get. There's part of the hobby I just will never completely understand, and those people tend to not like me either, because I try to find ways to make things more difficult for them. And it's not anything vengeful. It's just trying to keep everybody honest, right? At the end of the day, that's all we want. We want a fair playing field for everybody. And so I'm just trying to read it. Alex says, I keep more in my database, price broken out by cost, buyer's premium, etc. Yeah, I mean, we could add more fields in there, Alex. I mean, that I felt like, what we were capturing gave, what did I have? Purchase date, purchase price, and your own estimated value, and then any notes. Not a lot of people fill out the personal, the data on the artwork, because they're concerned about security and all that. So, I mean, we could put more fields in there, but the great thing is that at least when you do this, you can pretty much manipulate it however you want. You could add in your own additional fields if you want to be able to make notes on what the buyer's premium was as part of the sale price, if you bought it through a Heritage or, Comic Link, Comic Connect, those sorts of things. So, but I just wanted to get you the raw data, at least initially, so that you guys can start saving it, offloading it, maybe make a mental note once a month or however often you feel you should, to go out and grab a copy of your data so that you've got it preserved for a long time. Yeah, exactly. If you have the back end, you may be able to pop out the SSI exports. Yeah, I'd have to look into that, Doug. I have read a little bit about that, and I don't send Maureen back to school too often, so she stays pretty current on stuff, but that might be something that she's not comfortable with. But I do actually have another SQL developer that is the guy that helped me do all the migration, because that was just a lot of grunt work and a lot of setup. And so definitely I'll make an inquiry about that, because I would like to find an easy way to create the file in a temporary way, because at the end of the day, I'd like to load it in a browser window. Then all you have to do is do a file save as, and then it's already a CSV. You're just saving it to wherever you want to put it on your computer. Because you can't do that with this. If you try to save it, there is a little bit of HTML formatting in there, so you can't save it as a CSV file. It won't work. That's why you really have to copy what's on the screen and put it in the notepad and then move it over. So we'll see. Happy to help if you ever want a hand. Yeah, let's talk to him. I mean, let's see. We also do it where the fill is created on the server, then emailed to the requester. Yeah, I mean, right. I wish I had the amount of developers behind all this, so that we could do everything the right way. Because that would be the right thing to do, is to pull it off, just like you're saying, Tim. And I will look into doing it, because I want this to stay simple, but I really I want it to stay secure too for all the end users. So we'll talk. How about after my vacation? So speaking of that, as you know, I will record a CAF update for next Friday. That is the first day that I will be on the road. I think my plane flies out of Cleveland at 9 a.m. next Friday. So I'll have something worked up so that we can have a CAF update. I can't promise a CAF update for the following Friday, since I will be on the road. Maybe I'll do it live. Who knows? But I can't really say that. I will call you, Tim. Definitely. I've got your number. And I'm glad that you and Anthony were able to work that stuff out too. I should have thought of him first. It would have been a lot easier. But so other than that, I mean, obviously we have a very, very busy couple days ahead of me here. As you know, I've got the art sale tomorrow with Mike Fosberg. It's at 1 p.m. here on the Comic Art Live channel. It should be interesting. I mean, Mike, I've only talked with him via email, so it'll be interesting to do a little interview with him and show off some of his art. I think about half of it is published work, a couple complete issues of some obscure books that he's worked on. So, nothing like that's going to blow people's minds, but I think it'll be interesting to have him on camera, chat with him for a little bit, show off the artwork that he's brought, and what sells and what doesn't. But it'll be good content. It's Chuck Costas has brought him to me, just like he brought Gerhard, and that was a lot of fun. I'm sure this will be fun too. We've got the collector conversation on Sunday at 9 p.m. 3 new panelists, and so that'll be an interesting take for those guys. And Monday night, Tatiana versus Michael Levitz for another Amateur Dueling Dealers episode. Tuesday, I've got Hakes doing a short preview like we did a few 3 months ago, and then I've got Francis Chervenik is going to be on with me. And we got Dueling Dealers, and then I've got a Comic Connect preview on Thursday with Micah this time, not Vincent. So I don't know. Vincent's either traveling around picking up art, or he's just taking the night off, and Micah gets to be his stand-in for that. And then I'll have Jimmy Palmiotti on the 17th on Thursday. And so that, talking about his period and his time as an art collector. And he's got a lot of stories, and probably some of you have read many in the past. He's had a few interesting escapades posted out there, so it should be a lot of fun. Yes, Michael's gag was really good, and both I've actually got all of their memes already too. So they were very proactive, and one of them has already also gotten me all their artwork too. So, and I can tell you, there's a lot of good, just like all the other amateur shows we've done. I think it's going to be really, really fantastic and fun. And as I've showed to everybody in the past, those amateur shows are everybody's into them, because it's two collectors. It's, dealers can do that all day. That's like watching them at a show, right? They're haggling and doing their salesmanship. We see that all the time, but we don't get to see collectors kind of in that same mode and mindset. So it should be interesting. And I can tell you, Tatiana sent me something that arrived in the mail couple days ago, and she's like, I'll tell you when you open it during the show. So what's fun about all this for me is the stuff we get to do together while we're doing it. I mean, everybody's found an interesting way to kind of either through their memes or through the things we've done, make these shows fun for all of us. And and I can tell you I get a huge amount of enjoyment out of it as well. And so just having, who knows what this thing is that I'm going to open up on Monday evening, but it's going to be it'll be interesting. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be, yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading through. Yes, Tatiana. Yep, she has her memes are very funny too, and she got them to me early so I could finesse them a little bit. She said these are the like little tweaks that I can do to make them even better. So I feel like a dunce student tonight. Tim Finn, you are never a dunce student, but if there's ever anything that I can answer for you too, just let me know. Especially a guy who likes to be very dense. Sorry, everybody. Is it a box? Show us the box. It is a box, actually. She did tell me that I had to keep it in a cool place, so it's not in my office, because usually with the scanners and the 4 PCs in here, it's not very cool in here. So I don't have it next to me. I can't show off the box. But it was about as big as the box that had the Thor hammer in it. So, we shall see. We shall see. I can't get myself to watch FC, but he enjoys dueling dealers. Isn't that great? Somebody sent me a picture of it looked like a 2 or 3 year old, eating cereal, watching Dueling Dealers live. They sent it to me after the show, and yeah, it was just the kid's mouth was like hanging open, looking at the screen, and we're just looking at Anthony and Mike, and it made me laugh. I know a lot of people watch that show and just their spouses are enjoying it. They see us all and they just think it's funny, and that's what makes that show fun. So the experience can never ever be duplicated. That's what's cool about it. It is not a normal claim show, as has been portrayed. It's totally unique, and that's why I love it and love getting to do it, and love getting to do it with Mike and Anthony and all the amateur dueling dealers, and honestly any dealers out there that ever wanted to do it. I mean, the offer was always out there to work with other people. It's just, believe it or not, I mean, other than Albert expressing a little interest, I didn't really have anybody approach me to say, hey, I'd like to be on the show. But it is work, and as Dino and Mikhail can attest, it's and Jason, you all know how hard it is, and then how hard it is to ship afterwards. So smart money is on the bun cake. It could very well be. Man, you guys are blowing it for me. It might be a cake. I don't think too far ahead. I never look around the other side. I don't want to know what's there. It's like I like to be surprised on for everything. But oh man, see, now you've spoiled it for me. Damn it! All you guys, you're like, I'll tell you, my whole family. Well, I shouldn't say my whole family. Both my daughters and Maureen spoil everything we watch, because we usually watch a lot of cartoons together, not too many movies, but they are so savvy. They'll 5 minutes into the show, they can pretty much tell you how it's going to end. Every time there's a hint of something, they'll say, oh, that's going to come back at the end, and I'm like, I'm just trying to enjoy this show. Can't I just, be surprised at the end of it? I like to kind of turn my brain off a little bit when I'm watching something, but the whole time they are pointing out, never having seen anything, they're like, oh, that means this. Oh, that's that. That's this trope. That's that trope. They're heavy manga viewers, and so anything we watch in that vein, it's like, oh, this is going to happen. I guarantee it before the end of the show. Like, you guys are spoiling it for me. I want to enjoy this darn thing. We do not know for sure. It could contain a head. You're absolutely right, Jason. Yeah, and well, I think I already told everybody when Albert and I talked. Albert said, he goes, I want to be on sometime when the timing's right. He goes, but I'm not doing any memes. So I was like, well, Albert, that's the whole fun. That's what makes the show enjoyable. He's like, no, not going to do a meme. So yeah, we could have send in memes. Everybody just send in their favorite Albert memes, as long as they're not mean. And that would be how we would do that. But now if he's heard this, he definitely, that might scare him away. But that would be a fun show. I could get it. Mike could do a meme, and I probably wouldn't have it. Anthony would do a meme. So let's see. Anyway, I would imagine Albert's son. Yeah, would have. Yeah, exactly. I know. That's what I would have thought. Mikhail, certainly. His son definitely could have done it. And it could be a lizard, James. And at any rate, we'll see what is in the box on Monday during that show. And so, but yeah, now if she tells me to open it around 8, we know what it's going to be. So guys have ruined it. One more is good as another. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to think if I thought I had a lot of other things to talk about, but I believe that's probably everything. Because I got some prep work to do for the Fosberg thing tomorrow. So, Mikhail, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that piece of artwork. That I'm incredibly surprised and honored to have you send me that. It means a whole lot to me. Trust me. I mean, I never, I don't need to say I get that it's a surprise, and I'm surprised all the time when anything happens, even getting a nice email from people, but it happens all the time, and I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that everybody knows that, I've got everybody's interests at heart, and I'm working very hard to keep the pace up. I'm going to do a little bit of soul searching in the 10 days that I'm on vacation, just to kind of feel where I want things to go after I get back. I don't think we're going to make any major changes at all. I've talked to Glenn and Will and Mike about like the Comic Art live shows on Tuesdays, that I think that, maybe we're at a point where we need to make some modifications there. I'm not really sure what those are, but I do think that something will change. I mean, it's not related to the, what they were doing over on the Deal Makers show or anything like that. It's just, we've been doing it for a year, and maybe I love the recaps that we do with Heritage and Comic Link. I think we do those really well, but we don't necessarily need to do the same interview shows. So I think that I might make some changes there with regards to doing the Tuesday shows. But other than that, I'm just I'm really excited about the collector conversations. That we've got a really nice core group of people there. I think as that grows and we get we get more people in there, it's just going to make that show a little bit more fun and dynamic, because the collectors will always be changing, so the lineups will be different. And I think maybe at some point, we'll get to a point where maybe we have 2 or 3 people who can help me host it, so I'm not always having to host that show. I don't mind it. I love doing it. It's like I've shown everybody, it's one of the, after the Dueling Dealers episodes, it's actually our most popular show on the channel, and we've only done 5 of them. So that tells you a lot about collectors being in front of other collectors and doing their things. It's a really it's a special show. It's when James and I talked about it, I really felt strongly that a collector show was needed, and it's worked better than I would have thought. And so I'm really, really proud of that. But yeah, I'm just trying to think it through. I mean, there's so many, I want to kind of get back to CAF a little bit and focus on some updates there. And it's really hard to kind of keep focus here, focus there, and get it all done in a proper, manner that, I can feel proud of. So I don't know. So I won't be stepping back at all. It's just more or less, I'm trying to, how can I get to where the shows are even better, and I can still get a lot of these other things done over on CAF that are equally as important, so that we're not, we don't get stagnant there. I feel like it's been such a long time since I've had any major, really cool enhancements. The want list being the last one from about, but that's about what, 14, 15 months old now. So, we need more things like that to keep making the site cool. And I know we've done all the Comic Art Live stuff that adds to everything, but CAF is my baby. We got to figure out ways to make it even better, and we do have lots of things that we do want to work on there. So that's all. It's like, how do you juggle them all and get everything done and done to a really more polished level than what we have today, and get mobile friendly, doggone it. Like I said, I need to spend about 300 hours doing that to get CAF where it needs to be. The James show. James is a busy man. And yep, Tim, exactly. I learned stuff from that show. I mean, that really, it's been a lot more fun than I knew it was going to be fun. I didn't know it was going to be that fun, that informative, and everybody brings their own take on their experiences in the hobby, which I think is really what makes that show very interesting. There isn't one thing that somebody's talking about that isn't relatable or that we haven't run into before. So, yep, the collector stories are really important to get out there and just get their opinions out there, because I think that's what's needed. I mean, there's plenty of places we can talk about all this stuff on Facebook and other, the CGC forums and that sort of thing. But it's more fun to get these things out there for posterity. And I think, talking with Kuhn last night, we talked a little bit after the show, and
and because he was of the, he kind of steered that conversation to where he had the opinion that today's youth aren't really going to be interested in comics, and they're not, and it's going to be harder to discover comic art because most art's going to be digital and those sorts of things. And so I said, well, I feel that the work that we're doing here on the channel, especially with the collector conversations where we're talking about art, we're talking about it as art collectors, that this is another way to reach the millennials and that might not discover comic art on their own because they're not going to shows or whatever. So the shows that we do that are from a collector angle are very, I think will have a lot of bearing on tomorrow's collectors, because this is where they're digesting a lot. My daughters are watching YouTube videos all day long, and or TikTok, or God only knows what else that I'm not aware of, but that's where they're getting their entertainment today. So taking all this stuff and putting it out there on YouTube and Facebook, as far as the video copies of these conversations over there as well, are going to give the hobby legs that are going to last for a very long time. And we need to do more content geared towards that. And that's one of the things that, if I did anything, if we ever did another new show, it would definitely be a very collector-centric show, whatever that would be. And it would have to be different than what we're doing on Sundays. But if I put any thought to anything, I would definitely want to move in that direction. I don't need another dealer focus show. I don't need another selling art show. If we do anything, it should be another informative show for that's focused on original art collectors. There you go. Me to YouTube and TikTok. Right? All right. See, I'm glad everybody agrees, because I said that, and Coom, a lot. Some people have a different view of things. He was very apprehensive. He didn't really think that. He feels there's going to be a demise of the hobby in 20 years, and I don't see that at all, and I really don't see it based on the things that we've been doing here. I think that these are really, really, really important, and are important to CAF. They're important to the Comic Art Live channel in general, and they're definitely important to getting these pieces out there and this conversation out there to encourage people to collect and to appreciate the hobby going forward. So I feel very strongly that we're going to continue the hobby's going to continue to grow, and it's not going to stagnate. And so, Kuhn was like, well, we should talk about that more the next time. I'm like, well, we can. But that's my impression of where things are going. So, and Rob's, I know, Ruben, I know. It's always the same. Like we've always said, this is what we've been hearing for the last 20 years, right? It's the hobby's always, on some level of of a downturn, but it's not. It's really not. So, I don't watch any TikTok, everybody. Although I can tell you, I'd love to get some dueling dealer clips out there on TikTok. I've asked my daughters to do it, and they simply just won't dedicate any time to that. They're already working for the show, and they refuse to help me get any content out there for doing. Yeah, because I just think it'd be funny. I don't care if anybody on TikTok watched them, but that's the kind of content that I think TikTok is all about. But I could be wrong. It's all about humor, though, at least that I've seen. So, sorry, just reading through the comments again. At any rate, and let's see. It's Friday evening. I hope I didn't get to tune into Nick's show earlier, but always remember, everybody, that Nick does his show on the EXP at 7 p.m. every Friday, and he sells a little bit of art and always has a good time. So I would always encourage everybody to check in to see what Nick's doing. He knows how tough doing these shows are. So he's definitely put in the time and the effort on that thing. Billigan on TikTok. Exactly. If I had more time, that would be fun. And somebody asked me where was Billigan's hat? Because Billigan's hat still isn't here. And I didn't even know where it was. But you know where it was? It was in the wash because of all that darn whipped cream. And I found it, it was sitting as if it was placed on a nice pillow for me today. I walked in the bedroom, and it was like right on the bed. Billigan's hat, and I was like, that's where where it was, why I couldn't find it. So it will be nice and clean for the next time I need to do a Billigan video. All right, everybody. Hey, I'm gonna call it an evening so I can get back to work on the Fosberg show tomorrow. Definitely tune in for it. Even if you're not a fan of Fosberg, check out what he's got. He's got definitely, like I said, a couple There's a couple covers, some of his older work, not a lot. I think there's 30 total pieces that are coming in, and half of them are commission-oriented kind of pieces versus anything that's been published. But it should be an interesting show, and it just tuning in to watch and ask a few questions, that'd make me happy. Probably make Mike and Chuck happy that people are tuning in to see it, and hopefully doing more of those shows will encourage other artists or reps or sellers to kind of approach me to do things like that, because they're fun for me. It gives me something to do on a Saturday afternoon. I do hope I can tell you this. I have got probably 6 people in Europe that want to do interviews and can't do them on our regular Tuesday or Thursday evening shows. So I really have to allot some time on Saturday afternoon to start doing a European interview, because it's I got to do it. I'm getting asked to do it, and I can't do it on the weekdays. So that'll be something that I will definitely start doing in July, is at least adding one of those a month, so I can start taking care of the calf collectors that are in Europe. So again, thank you so much, everybody, and and Mikhail, thank you, Sharon and Anthony, if you were probably tune in later. Thank you. I can't, I don't know if I deserve all these things, but I appreciate them, incredibly. So have a good weekend, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 1, and then Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And good night. And hey, I don't have my outro. I had an outro and I didn't load it. Oh well. Sorry, guys. You're just gonna have to see me fade off into the sunset.